All righty. I don't know how long I'll be on, but we'll see how this goes. I wanted to talk about the interview with Georgie. I see a lot of people have questions. I'm going to get him back on here as soon as I can because I like that interview quite a bit. I think that was about the most informational interview that I've done so far. Not that all of them are. I love the interviewing thing, but definitely the most informational one by far. I think, if you look at his website, I don't know how to pull it up here. I wish I could actually pull it up live. He's got a lot of stuff on there. He said he posts on there occasionally, but there's a lot of stuff on there. One of the ones, drinking Pepsi Coke freely is androgenic for males, enlarges testicles, ups testosterone. So that might be of use to some people. Just go check it out. It's Haidut. It's HAIDUT.me. Really good resource. A lot of good information. So sugar doesn't cause diabetes. No, sugar doesn't cause diabetes. Good morning, New Zealand. Oh, I was going to say it's not morning. Yeah. So just if you haven't seen the interview, go check it out. He's got a lot of good information. Pepsi, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Pepsi. I don't think it actually has to do with the Pepsi itself. I think it's the sugar in it, but it could be. I have no idea. Who knows what's in the Pepsi? Yeah, I trimmed the beard. I'm so tired of the gray patch. It got to go. It's gotten worse. But it does. That interview did answer the question as to, people are like, well, why didn't you lose weight last year? Or, you're eating KFC, and it's not. I just, my stress level is just, anybody who goes through this, maybe you don't, maybe you do, but like everything to me anymore is like stressful. So if you're in that mind space, it really is hard to lose weight. I know that. I know that's the issue. It's just a matter of how to get that to go away. I don't know what to eat anymore. No matter what I eat, I still have low energy. That's never good. You got to be consistent with that. And if your a microbiome is not very good, then you won't have energy. Cola and Pepsi is bad because of the acids. Haha. The only reason it has acid is because of the fizz. I mean, technically, you can have just cane sugar water and it'll be about the same effect. Did you talk bodybuilder stuff with him pre or post interview? No, I probably should have. I'm going to have him back on here. We did talk about how running isn't that great for you, and how the first marathon runner actually dropped dead right after he did it. We did talk about that off there. I always joke with people, the best conversation and the best, like the most informational stuff always happens the second you're not recording something. It sucks. Solutions to insulin resistance, not 100 reasons why. I don't know what to say to that. It's basically sugar, sugar, sugar. I got to turn this heater on. Hopefully it's not too loud. It is just not warm today at all. Just eat potatoes and figure it out later. Yeah, I mean, you could do that. If you saw the interview, we talked about the Soviet studies, the Khan study, the Himidi or whatever this guy's name was with the potatoes. Potatoes seem to be a really good answer to just about everything. I mean, especially if you can't find good fruit. If you can find good fruit is a great resource. But if you can't, potatoes are definitely the way to go. 100%. If you're still on here, if you can hit the like button, once you do that, it should send it out to more people. Yeah, but the potatoes, I think actually the most interesting thing about the potatoes or about the interview was the potatoes. I got a gray patch on my chin when I grow my beard out, makes me look old. I really didn't even care about the old thing. It's not growing in anymore. Like it's like taking it's like dying off or whatever. So I'm sure I'll grow it back because I hate shaving. I can't stand it. I get ingrown hair so easily, which is why I don't shave. If I shave like a couple days in a row, I'll have ingrown hairs everywhere. It sucks. Sounds interesting. I've always known running taxes your adrenals. So there was an interview done years ago on, I never watched these, but like 60 Minutes or something like that. It was a guy who was always always finding a reason to exercise. Like no matter where he went, no matter what he was doing push-ups or something like that. You see this now. It's ridiculous. But they found that in people who keep doing that kind of stuff actually have this compound in them that I meant to mention in this interview that hopefully I can get on here soon. But there's this compound that's only found in corpses. Like it's like a compound that happens after you die. And they're starting to find that in these people who exercise all the time and the people who do a lot of marathon running, that they've got this compound or what molecule or whatever it is. It's usually only found in corpses, is now being found in people who do over exerting themselves in cardiovascular activity. So something to keep in mind. This was an interview a long time ago, though, so I wouldn't even know where to start to look at what it was, or which is why I wanted to mention, because I figured maybe he knew. Air is so dry here. But yeah. While driving, are you listening while driving? Don't let me affect your driving skills. Maybe you got driving on the way to get some potatoes. Yeah. I've been posting a little bit more of the food stuff on Instagram. Speaking of which, the potato soup I made yesterday was crap, though. I didn't put enough liquid in it. It's weird. I started putting in the vegetable stock, and there was a ton of oil in the vegetable stock, and there's no oil listed on the ingredient list. So what he was saying in that interview about them really not having to put anything on the labels anymore is true, because there was a ton of oil in it, and I didn't put any oil in the soup. So that really sucks. I hate shaving too. I just trim it down to half an inch. Shaving's garbage. I can't stand it. I just can't stand it. I just don't see the point of it. So I don't do it very often. Yeah, it's not my thing. It just, I don't know. Let it grow. But it does tend to age people. But whatever. What is age? It's just a number. We're all going to leave here anyway. It's all a matter of when. But anybody watch the interview? If you did, what were your thoughts? I definitely want to get him back on here. Yeah, trimming is the best. Yeah, this is turning into a shaving commentary here. So it sounds like if you gain weight doing DR, vitamin B3 would slow lipolysis and help your body use sugar. Yeah, it did sound a lot like that. He actually on here, I got his website up here. I really wish I knew how to have a live with me watching. I know there's a software that I can use to do that. So maybe I'll figure that out and do that the next time. But there's actually a lot of stuff on here. A lot of stuff. And everybody's like, well, he's still fat. Well, he does follow like a 33 thing percent. So 33% of each macro. I don't think that's a very good thing. It's how you feel. It's not your age. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And that really kind of determines what you do in life too. If you always feel old, you're just probably not going to do anything that you want to do because you're figuring you're going to be, out of here soon anyways. Meanwhile, you might have like another 40, 50 years left on this planet. You could have gotten a lot of stuff done. It's all in the mindset. I think that's why my great grandmother lived to 96, because she kind of had that attitude. What inspires you come up with the name of your channel, High Carb Regenerate? I'm more about regenerating your life. The bikini body or the bathing suit body is fine and all, but like if you're kind of a shell of a human, like a ghost in a shell, I mean, what good is it anyway? Really doesn't matter. So if you don't have the rest of your life regenerated, I mean, you might be skinny. It's just like them 39, 40-year-olds that drop dead, but they're skinny. It really, and I didn't want it to become too much of a weight loss thing. This is the journey that I'm on. I've never been able to get rid of that stress brain, though. I think I get it from my mom and dad. Well, my mom specifically. I know that's kind of a genetic thing, and you got to get rid of it. If I didn't have that, I'm sure I'd be a whole lot skinnier, but I don't want to get too much skinnier. I like being somewhat bigger. But that was the reason behind it. I think it was that and the Life Regenerator. I kind of like some of the Life Regenerator's message, but I like high carb. He's always into the high fat. He's kind of into high fat and high carb. I don't know how he does it. Probably some things going on behind the scene. Who knows? Would you ever quit veganism? I would only if I absolutely had to for my health or something, but never out of free will. Would I quit veganism? No, I don't think so. But you can't predict what's going to actually happen in the future as far as food availability. So that might come into play. He was also a bodybuilder, so he will never be a D rider. Are you talking about Georgie? Yeah, he definitely had that bodybuilder, power lifter, whatever build. 100%. Yeah, you're never gonna get to that Durian rider style if you rock the bodybuilder life, especially if you're on, testosterone or something like that. I just don't see how you could ever get to that. I wouldn't even want to. I mean, at his height of like skinny, I mean, who wants to look like that? It just looks terrible. It just doesn't look right. I'm sure you operate better, but it just doesn't look good. I'm more interested in operating better than being super skinny. Nor would I want to be. But it's interesting to watch some of my old videos because I've been posting my old videos on the new channel, the raw vegan eats plant-based channel. I mean, even me, the phases that I've gone through since I started this channel like a year and a half ago, it's crazy. Just how I look from here and there. Yeah. I'm spacing out. It's so cold out here. It's like it's really affecting my ability to think. I don't know what else to say. I'm used to questions really coming in. Do you guys have any questions? Lag time. I don't know. I'm not very good at basic conversation, as you can see. I suck at it. I want to keep talking about potatoes, but actually, when he was talking about the potato thing, every single one of these potato studies, the potato study also has butter and salt in it, and I just want to know the correlation there. Like, is it needed to have the butter or the fat involved with the potatoes, or is it just the potatoes themselves that cause the weight loss, and the fat doesn't need to be there? I know some like the Khan study. I think he had to add back in the oil or the fat because the people were losing weight too fast and they were Olympic athletes. So they were really struggling to keep weight on. I don't know. I'm just blabbering. I usually have a topic to talk about, but today the day's been going so fast. I haven't really had a chance to figure out what to talk about. All right. I might actually get off here pretty soon then if there's not a lot of questions. There's so many videos that I make that I'm just kind of getting a little burnt out on talking. I always lose weight with rice, but with potatoes, my weight stays the same. That's you might not digest one over the other. I know Georgie was talking about that. Some people just don't digest starch well at all. And some people don't digest fruit well at all. It reminds me of Sandy and I went to the Chinese food place one time, and that woman thought we were nuts for even eating anything raw. Oil and potato and flatter. I've never heard such a thing. Salt. No, it was oil, potatoes, and salt. I don't know what you mean. Yeah, if you read the Khan study was basically they were frying the potatoes in the beginning, and then the people decided they like mashed potatoes better, but they still had butter with it. Do you eat daily salads or do you eat greens? I don't eat salads daily, but I do have greens daily. I just throw it in one of the smoothies. Matter of fact, you can see it. Well, at the end of it, but it had greens in it. I find that it digests better. I thought it was butter. Yeah, it was both. In the con study, it was both. So sometimes they were frying the potatoes, and then sometimes they were using butter on the potatoes. It really depended on how they actually made the potatoes, cook the potatoes. What drug was he talking about to lower cortisol and Cushing's? I believe that was the vitamin B3. It's on if you like I said, this hey dude .me. If you go check that out, it's so much stuff on here. It's crazy. There's what 66 pages of info on here. I feel more like a skinny legend when I eat rice, but potatoes are more nutritious. Huh, it's interesting. I feel like that rice actually digests so quick. It's almost like a fruit, whereas potatoes have a little bit more to them, and it takes a little longer to actually digest. Picking up the kids. What do you ask your doctor specifically for the hormone tests? If you go to an endocrinologist, you really shouldn't have to ask for anything specific. They usually should know what to run. But then some insurance companies, you can't just go directly to an endocrinologist because you got to get a reference for it. But if you ask your general, just ask them for, thyroid, the T4, the TSH, T4, hormone, testosterone, progesterone, I think prolactin. I don't know. There's a bunch of, if you watch my blood test one, you'll see a bunch of the tests on there. Estrogen, there's a bunch of tests that you can get done. Click on the like button. What's going on? Yeah. Yeah. If people don't do that, I don't think it pushes these videos. Plus, I just never know what time is the best to run it. I know a lot of the people from like Europe and stuff come on here at this time of day, but if I run it at night, I get yelled at for going too late. So I just never know. Just never know. But as far as the blood test, I would just find an endocrinologist and start working with them if they're legitimate. I find that the people who are not from this country are the best to work with, specifically like the Middle East, India, China. A lot of those will just run tests that you ask them. It really sometimes they won't run the tests now, and I see that Quest, LabCorp, and Quest or whatever aren't running certain things anymore. It's getting a little ridiculous that you can't get your own blood test run. But yeah, that's the ones I would start with, especially thyroid. The TSH and T4. Some won't run the T3. They won't run the T3 for me for whatever reason. But yeah. It's really up to, unfortunately, the doctors. Now, I guess you can pay to have things run for yourself, and then you don't have to have a prescription for that. But I think that's like $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, which is actually absolutely ridiculous. Have you gotten a iris reading? No. Should I? I don't think I have. No. Arnold did look at him one time, and he told me something because of my irises, but I've never actually had. No, I haven't done it. Do I have any tattoos? No. I don't like anything long enough to have it tattooed on me. I would get tired of it real quick. So no. If the only thing that I might actually have tattooed on me is like an Irish blessing. Is that what it's called? I think the Irish blessing. I'm from Israel, and I'm glad you're back on the air at this time. Yeah, I'm gonna do on Fridays. I'm gonna do a 3:15, and then on Tuesday I'm gonna do 7:15, somewhere in that range, for as long as I can. It really just depends on if people get on here or not. I think Instagram is better for if you're just gonna kind of go on there and talk randomly to the camera. It seems a little less interesting on this. I like this time too. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna be doing this on Fridays. DoorDash is too busy at Friday night for me to do it later. This time is good. I figured everybody, if you're on here, then this time is pretty good for you. But yeah, like I said, Instagram on Thursday and Friday is usually pretty insane. So I just can't do it at night on those days. Yeah, I don't like anything permanent on my body either. Do you deliver DoorDash to Europe? No, that would require a plane. I think you can do something like DoorDash in Europe though. Uh, if B3 prevents free fatty acid release, how do you burn fat then? I don't think that's what he meant. Go read the study. Go read the study or re-listen to the interview. I think he was talking about uh I'd have to watch it again, but that's not what he was referencing. I've got the study actually over here, but I can't figure out how to get it on the screen while I'm live. I think I'd have to use like OBS or something to do that. Maybe I'll do that on Tuesday. This is a good time to I'm busy at 5:15. Yeah, I tried 8:15 last Friday. It just did not work at all. Man, I felt so bad yesterday. I saw a delivery guy get run over. He was fine, but I felt bad for him. Man, that's crazy. That's happening a lot of places these days. Everybody's just so busy looking at their damn phones. It's one thing that drives me nuts because I drive a lot. I see people on their phones all the time, and it drives me crazy. Get off the damn phone and just drive, you know? My buddy does that sometimes when he's visited here a few times. He's like on the phone the whole time. I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to get smashed into the side of a wall somewhere because you're staring at your phone. Get off. Oh yeah, I think that's what's happening. Should weight walking be good for weight training or both? I don't want to go to a gym. Yeah, I was talking to him about that off the thing, and he said walking is one of the best things you can do. Do you deliver in a car? Yeah. Yeah, or I mean, when I sell on eBay, then no, I send it through the post office, FedEx, or UPS. But it depends on what delivery it is. Should be the walking thing again. Yeah, he said walking is extremely good, and again, like everybody else says, you know, it should be at like a where you can have a conversation, not too huffing and puffing. My husband drives while on the phone. That scares the out of me. Yeah, I don't understand it. I can't stand it. Like the text can wait. You're not that important. Sorry. I hate to let you know you're not that important. It's just, it's ridiculous. You know, it's like, well, you know what? If somebody's dying, they'll still be dead when you get to where you're going or, you know, or whatever. So it's just, you know, just get off the phone. There's a guy that got ran over in my parking lot at my work. It's nuts. And best believe if I get run over by you, I'm going to sue the shit out of you. You are going to work for me for the rest of your life. It's just going to be what it is. What do you sell on eBay? Stuff. I've actually got some of Sandy's stuff on there too right now because I'm trying to help her out, but it doesn't look like it's going to sell in time. Mostly, what I used to do is sell vintage electronics. So I would go pick it up at thrift stores or garage sales. And if it needed to be fixed, I would fix it. But the parts just started getting so expensive to fix this stuff that it just wasn't worth me doing. So I really kind of backed off on that. What else do I sell? I've had people from the States give me stuff. A lot of that stuff sold really good. It was like really expensive, like antiques and stuff like that I've sold. I for most of my life, I saved all of my Nintendo stuff, like the boxes, the instruction manuals. I've got somewhere at my parents' house, I still got the original box for the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo 64. That stuff sells like crazy. So it really depends on what I've got, what I find. I don't really go searching too much anymore. I might actually start back up this summer with the garage sales. When I run, my joints hurt. Get some zero shoes. What were your before and after T levels after doing the pound of sugar a day? It doubled, so it went from 200 to 400 something, which is still low as hell. It should not be that low. Like it's still low as hell. I like buying books on eBay. They're cheap there. Yeah. All right. So this is the thing. What you do is if you really want to make money, you buy books on eBay and you sell them on Amazon because people on Amazon have these blinders on. They don't go anywhere else. And you can like quadruple your money on Amazon. It's crazy. One of the best thing that I ever did is I was out in a rural area and they were having this garage sale. And this guy had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books. I said, I'll give you $20 to take those things off your hand. I don't know how many thousands and thousands of dollars I made with those things. It was crazy. I barely got home Talking about bad driving, I barely got home because there were so many books that I couldn't even put them in the boxes they were in. I had to dump the books into my car. But man, I make a ton of money off that. Do you play video games? Of course. Yeah. I've even got a control right here. I started playing even more lately because of stress level. I don't know why. My body's perceiving everything as stress. B3 just slows the fat down to normal so you can use the sugar and not store the sugar as fat or store in the liver. I think that's what he was saying. Yeah. It's crazy just how easy some of this stuff is. And some of this stuff probably would normally get just from our diet, but it might just not be there anymore. You know? I probably should do some of these lives while playing video games. Start a channel doing that. I'm playing the Mad Max, the video game, PS4. I didn't even know they still made those games. Didn't they start on PS2? I haven't seen those. That's not my type of game. I'm a JRPG freak, which sucks because the games are like 100, 200 hours to beat them. So it basically ends up turning you into a video game collector because the games, they are so low print and you want the game physical copy and it just, yeah. But what can you do? What can you do? I think I'm going to be making a shepherd's pie next week. If I can, I'll videotape that and I'll make a video about it. You play WoW back in the day? Not really. I never got into the World of Warcraft. I played it for a little while. I'm actually not into what is it, MMO style games much at all. My favorite game is Witcher 3. I hate that game. You might go now. You might just rage quit on me. I hate that game. I've bought it 3 times. I've tried to force myself to like that game 3 times. This should be a video game thing. I hate that game. I can't stand it. I don't know what the love is for it. I'm sure I can see it. Like with coffee, I can't see why people actually like it. With Witcher 3, I can see why people like it. It's kind of like Porsches, right? I can see the appeal to them, but I just think they're stupid. Like I wouldn't want one. That's where I'm at with the Witcher 3. I can't do it. I can't do it. My favorite game of all time is Zelda: A Link to the Past. This isn't about diet at all. Sorry, people who came here for diet. How about Assassin's Creed? Oh, I'm gonna get booed out of here. No. I don't really like anything Ubi makes. Yeah, people are leaving in droves. They're like, I didn't come here for video games. Yeah, I'm a JRPG freak. I don't really like action games. I don't really like American RPG games. I don't really like any of it. It's just not my thing. The only action game that I really liked was Naughty Dog. What was that game? Can't think of the game. It was made by Naughty Dog. What about Lara Croft? I like her. I like the way she looks, right? Lara Croft, the build, great. The games, again, it's an action game. I'm not into platforms. I'm not into action games. I'm not into MMOs. It's just not my thing. I have probably the most expensive taste in video games, just like everything else. Street Fighter from Nintendo is my favorite. I love Street Fighter. That's a good game. I'll give you 100% Street Fighter. It was always Street Fighter 2 somehow. Never Street Fighter anything else. How has your sleep been lately? Last 2 nights, it's been pretty good. The nights before that, not great. I don't know what causes it. But I tell you this, if I have sugar every night, if I can't sleep for like more than a half hour, I come down, I drink sugar, and I go back upstairs, and I barely remember even laying down. I'm passed out. Don't know what it is. It just happens that way. It's just the way it is. It definitely lowers the cortisol, and you can finally, turn the brain off from thinking so much, and then fall asleep. Yeah, Highly recommend it. If you get nothing else out of this video other than I can't stand most video games, but I like video games. Sugar, it definitely lowers cortisol. And that was basically the point of the message that I wanted to get across with that interview with Georgie. I'm definitely going to be doing another one with him. I'm actually supposed to be doing an interview with Natasha on Sunday, and I forgot that I'm supposed to be going to the orchestra at the exact same time. So that's not going to happen either, which really sucks because it's going to be postponed by me now this time. Yeah, sleep has been a tricky thing for me. It's never been something that I come about easy. It's which is weird because my parents, they say you're supposed to take after them. They fall asleep like that. My dad, you can barely wake up. So, yeah. I don't know what else you can do. I've never been a big fan of the melatonin. The other thing that does help you sleep sometimes is magnesium. So if your magnesium is low, then sometimes that'll help you sleep. But you just got to watch how much you take. Magnesium is actually quite a beneficial thing to take. It also cuts down on inflammation if you got a lot of inflammation. I'll try that sugar water at night. I have a hard time sleeping too. It's probably that video game life. You play too many video games, you just want to get stuck in that world and you can't sleep. But yeah, it helps a lot. It helps a lot. Helps a lot. Now, how much sugar, you just never know. You got to play around with it. For me, it's like half a cup of sugar. Anything more than that, my stomach just kind of gets irritated. But it doesn't do that if I have like that Florida. There's actually a brand called like Florida Crystal Sugar or whatever. It's just regular sugar, but it's like organic. That doesn't upset my gut as much. So just play around with it. Some people might just need like a teaspoon of sugar and they'll be fine. What was that old Mary Poppins saying? Like teaspoon of sugar makes the medicine go down or whatever. I wouldn't take the medicine, but the sugar might help you sleep. Yep. I really wish I knew what else to talk about. I'm looking at his website here. I wish I could pull this up on the screen. Yeah. I got date sugar. I just think that's expensive for no reason. Sugar. Will sugar help with bad dreams? No, I don't think so. I have the craziest ass dreams. Maybe it's from the sugar. I have no idea. But that's the reason I couldn't do melatonin. Melatonin gives me the worst dreams I've ever had in my life. So bad that I still remember all of them years ago when I used to take it. I don't sleep well either unless I take hydroxyzine, HCl. I don't know what that is. I would think that maybe you're just not eating enough. That's the problem. When I eat enough during the day, that's when I pass out. And the past 2 days, I've really gotten really good with that. So I just passed out. But if you're not good, if you don't eat enough, you're just not going to sleep. Why would you recommend a diabetic consume sugar before bed? Why you always have these stupid questions, man? How many doctors are everything that I have to have on here to show you that sugar doesn't cause diabetes for you to understand that it doesn't cause diabetes? Melatonin gives me bad dreams too. Yeah, it's crazy how bad those dreams are. I had a sleep doctor ask me one time. He's like, do you want me to help you, to point you to somebody that can help you with those bad dreams? And I said, no, it gives me good artwork. And he was just like, but yeah, some of the dreams that come with melatonin is it's like psychedelic, man. It's crazy. My mom takes trazodone to help her sleep. Well, this is the thing. People don't eat enough. People don't have enough carbs, so then they don't sleep well. And it happens to me too. I was actually just talking to somebody on the phone before I got on here, and she was talking about she hasn't eaten enough, didn't eat enough that day, so she's up at 2:00 in the morning. So you don't eat enough, you're not going to sleep. Date sugar is too expensive. Yeah, it's way too expensive. Raw pure cane sugar is the best in my opinion. Yeah, it's really good. It really is good. It's just more expensive and people don't like that. In the summer, I ate a plum to fall asleep. It worked great and also helped me not to eat crap at night. She put it next to the bed. Okay. Plums, yeah, sure. If it's good. I mean, most plums taste terrible these days because they're picked way too early. But if you can find a farm that actually has plums and you can actually go pick them or whatever, they just picked it the day before. That's an amazing eat right there. Amazing. Pure dark maple syrup. I can't do that without getting heartburn, but if you can, go for it. My gut just does not like maple syrup at all. Just does not like maple syrup. That is the worst advice I've ever heard anywhere. Okay. Mm. You live in your little sugar causes diabetes world. Do you use soy sauce? I love it with white rice. I do. I like soy sauce. I don't like too much of it because it's salty. But other than that, yeah, I like the taste of it. And I think it helps digest rice really good. Yeah. Man, this sugar phobe thing is just so crazy. It's just everywhere. Everyone knows carbs raise glucose. Yeah. Of course it is glucose. Of course it's going to raise glucose. Do you eat at night? I try not to, but it happens every night. You know, the thing is, I talk about DoorDash a lot. DoorDash is really good from like 5 through the rest of the night, really. But I try to stop at 8 o'clock, 8:30, and then I come home and eat dinner. I would love to not have that schedule, but I just do. I'm having rice with cilantro, lime, and soy sauce for dinner. That is a phenomenal combination. Diabetes is elevated glucose. Did you watch the interview with him? I mean, I feel like you're just like troll vision here. Trazodone is bad. It makes you feel like you got a hangover. So does melatonin. And I imagine it's habit forming too, just like all the other sleep things. That's the problem when you get into these habit forming things and then you can't sleep no matter what you do because you're so used to taking a drug to help you sleep. In my mind, medicine heals something, drugs just mask something, and it's just a mask. And people just don't want to take off that mask. It's just not good. It's not good. I just stay away from it. But you know that's the problem when you get into it. You know, people are just so hung up on these drugs and want to take drugs. Give me a pill for this, and they won't just do the natural thing. It's amazing. Like, you know, it's just think about like Thanksgiving dinner. Everybody's talks about Thanksgiving dinner. They want to blame the turkey, but they ate enough carbs and then they can actually sleep. You know, everybody's passed out at Thanksgiving, and then they're like, oh, you know, well, you can't do that the rest of the year. And now, if you cut out the fat and protein from the rest of the Thanksgiving dinner, you'll be able to sleep the rest of the year. So it really is just a mind over matter, I guess, with this whole thing. Then you get people who think sugar causes diabetes, which is ridiculous. Will you be able to have a normal sleep schedule? What do you mean? Will you be able to? I was shocked the sugar used in the study Georgie talked about was candy. I love gummy candy, Sour Patch Kids on occasion. Yeah, yeah, that just use simple sugar like that. When you go to the doctor and you have a fasting glucose of 130, you're diagnosed with diabetes. How can you not know that? Again? What's the relevance to that? How do we know that that's not normal? How do you know that that's bad? And it doesn't matter. A matter of fact, I drank an entire juice before I went and got my blood test one time, and it wasn't even over 100. You stay up late? No, not really. I'm in bed by midnight. I used to stay up late. Yeah. Do you know anything that will help with hormonal headaches? That I don't. Check out Georgie's site. I would think that sugar should help quite a bit. Hydration might help. It might be an issue too. Just got a new rice cooker and cooked the rice with some better than bouillon seasoning, diced onions, and mushrooms. It's perfect. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I don't like to do that too much because it'll clog up the filter at the top, but I have done it. I put it next to the bed, the plums. Oh, I'm still confused. Norman fasting glucose, Norman fasting glucose is 65 to 100. Okay, live in that world then. We got a liar here talking to you, so yeah. No, I mean, not diabetic. Man, you love your diabetes, dude. I mean, you should be a diabetes expert, like an advocate for it. Do you feel stronger now, high carb, low fat versus keto? I never really lifted to the same level, so I really don't know. Uh, it'd be hard to say. I wish I would have tested that out back in the day. I don't know. Do you cook any recipes from McDougall's cookbook? I do. The one I like the most is the black bean and corn soup one, I believe is what it's called. I think it's page 87. That's by far my favorite. What else on there? Actually, I mean, I think that's about the only one that I really cook out of there, and I haven't made it in a long time. Do you ever find that eating too many veggies with dinner bother your stomach? Happens to me. Yeah, if it's cruciferous, like broccoli or cauliflower or cabbage, something like that, it can upset the gut a little bit. It really depends on what it is. I've tried the golden gravy. I have not made it. Is that? I think that's out of the book. I have not made that. Did your conversation with Georgie have you considering lifting again? A lot of people ask me that. I don't know if I'd ever go back to lifting. I get too addicted to it, and it takes over my entire life, and I don't know that I want to go down that path again. I really don't know if I want to do that again. It's just too much. I keep saying the answer is no. I mean, it may change in the future. I really don't know, but I can't see me ever going back to that life. Did Nutrition by Victoria have live chats too? I don't think so. You'd have to ask her. I bet you have to eat a ton when you cycle. Hunger must go up a lot. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It was ridiculous how much I was eating when I was cycling. All that it was insane. I could not almost get to the point of ever being full. How many carnivore or keto do you do it lifelong? I don't know. It's new to the scene, so you're gonna have to see. What do you think about vegan deterioration? The channel? I don't know much about the channel, but I don't think deterioration's real. Well, here's the thing. If you're going to try to live off broccoli and cucumbers and stuff like that, then no, your deterioration is going to be massive. It really depends on what you're eating, I guess. Do you eat any seeds or nuts or make dressings with them? No. We are in the same boat. I'm afraid to do heavy lifting. I might get hurt. Well, if you lift right, you're not going to get hurt. If you lift with shitty form, you're probably going to get hurt. I think you have to have a respect for it and know that you could get hurt in just about any athletic endeavor. When I added pure sugar, it was a game changer. I lost an additional 10 pounds. Lucky you. Yeah, if I could get these stress levels lower, then I would be golden. The stress, yeah, it's ridiculous. I can't even explain it. The other people who have this know what I'm talking about, but living in constant fight or flight is basically where I've lived my life. Not even intentionally, it's just constant. So I have to really up the sugar even more. I love the golden gravy from McDougall. I guess I'll have to try it. I just make my own gravy. I can't even think of what I put into it though. I think it was just gochujang and something else. No, I think that somebody's saying, I wonder why you lost so much weight. Maybe it's because you have more energy for workouts. I don't really, the working out thing no, I really don't think that would have anything to do with it. Does your stress show up in your blood tests? No. That's one of the biggest issues. It doesn't. You ever did steroids? No, I hate needles. So I that's literally the only reason I never did it. I knew the oral ones just destroyed your liver, so I never took them. There's nothing that will destroy your liver quicker than oral testosterone or any oral steroid. Interesting. Yeah, no, it doesn't. I go to the doctors call me the anomaly because I go there. All my blood tests usually are within range, their range, and nobody can ever figure out what the hell's going on. I know it's this weird stress thing that I go through, and I know a lot of people go through this. It's not just me. I do fruit for breakfast and lunch and cook for dinner. I cycle 12 to 15 hours per week. I get so hungry sometimes that for dinner I eat a few bowls of rice, and people look at me like I'm crazy. Well, I eat like 3 dry cups of rice every night almost. So what is that? 9 cups when it's cooked. So I get it. I get it. Drinking sugar water before bed is interesting. Problems with tooth decay. I don't know. I don't. Maybe somebody will. If you don't brush your teeth, maybe. I mean, but sugar is a pH neutral, so I don't know why would it cause that. I know McDougal's talking about, tooth decay now all of a sudden. That is good. I hate the gym. I walk and rebounding. Do you do specific rebounder workout? No. The guy from Seller says we only need 10 minutes a day. Yeah, I don't know if that's his gimmick or if that's legit, but yeah, I know David Hall says that. It's you only need that a seller size for 10 minutes a day. I could see that. I mean, you really don't need a ton of exercise to lose weight. I eat a ton of rice too for dinner. Laugh. I mean, it's so easy to do, right? Just pound it down. I think you were the one that's talking about the cilantro and lime. That's actually such a good combination. That's such a good combination with rice. Especially at that Chipotle does that, don't they? I haven't had them in years, but I used to love that stuff. But they talk about somebody that uses a lot of fat. Wow, they load you up. They load you up. How's your hydration? Your lips look dry. I mean, it's like 1% humidity out there. Of course, they're going to look dry. I mean, I pee clear, so it's about as good as I can get. Rice digests so well, especially rice plus beans. I don't have that, but a lot of people do. I don't really love beans all that much. Oh yeah, I love it having it today. Yeah, I don't have any of it to make it other than the rice, and I got to do something with this damn potato soup that I made. All right, I might start piecing out of here pretty soon. What time is it? Yeah. Yeah. It's 4 o'clock. Do you cheap sometimes and get a Beyond Burger? Oh, cheat. No. If I was gonna do something like that, I would just make my own. My parents buy them once in a while, but I haven't had one forever. What will your next meal be? I'm gonna finish the rest of the smoothie. It's just greens, sugar, and bananas. It's another 32 ouncer, and then I'll just have rice and potatoes tonight. I sometimes cut myself off because I can eat a ton of rice, like a few quarts. Why cut yourself off? If you're hungry, you're hungry. It's like if you're in the middle of peeing and you're like, oh, it's too much. You cut yourself off. I'll pee the rest of this later. I'm also stuck on the last 12 kilos just because of stress, and it's a loop. It's so annoying. It is. It's an annoying thing. Thank you for the video with Georgie. I watched all of it. I am keto now, but do have high cortisol. I may change to this way of eating. If you don't, it's not going to change. It's not. I mean, take my 10 years of example. Yeah, don't keep going down that keto road. That keto road is going to lead you nowhere. It's like the road to nowhere. That's what it should be called. It shouldn't be called the keto diet. It should be called the road to nowhere diet. It looks so ideal in the beginning, and they know that, the people who are selling it, because you're going to lose weight in the beginning, and all of a sudden, bam, you start gaining weight again because you're just so toxic that at some point your body's going to start putting fat back on because you're going to have a fatty liver, and the fatty liver is going to start dumping all the fat into the cells, so it's not in the liver anymore. It's a bad combination, but it can take years for you to know that. But as far as stopping, because I mean, just I I try to tell people and myself, and I know I don't always do it, but you should get to the point where you just can't even eat anymore. Like Durian Ryder talks about, a lot of the plant people talk about this. You should get to the point where you couldn't even fathom getting that food down. What do you think would have happened to your health if you stayed on keto? I probably would have destroyed my liver to the point of not being able to function anymore. I haven't seen him on here in a while, but I know a guy that did actually go past the point, and he got leukemia because of it. Why did you smell like ammonia when you were on the keto diet? My kidneys were shot. Kind of, if you read that chemical reaction, it's because of the kidneys. I agree with the concept of unlimited carbs, but for some reason, I just can't let myself really pound the carbs. I mean, imagine how much better your bike rides would be if you did. I do know this, like, I love fruit, but once you start adding back in the starches, your bike rides will be so much better, especially potatoes. Potatoes actually have a lot of compounds in them that kind of give you an almost EPO like effect with your blood, and it's your hemoglobin will go up. You know, the doctor might even blame you for taking EPO but it's just because you've been eating so many potatoes. I mean, that it just skyrockets your hemoglobin, and you can ride so much better. It's ridiculous how high my hemoglobin is. You know, I can waste. I mean, I haven't ridden a lot lately, so I probably couldn't anymore. But when I'm really riding, even at like 260, I can destroy somebody who's like 150 pounds on the bike. Destroy them. I will be buying a 10-pound bag of potatoes. Yeah, I mean, around here, like a 10-pound bag of potatoes is like maybe $4. So it's really not that bad. It's like 40 cents a pound. It's hard fighting eating disorder. Yeah, and not eating enough. I forget sometimes not eat enough. Any advice? I still struggle with that myself, because you feel like the fat person syndrome or whatever it is, or if you had anorexia or anything. It is an absolute struggle, and you will notice that you're in that struggle because the weight's just not coming off, because you are constantly stuck in this overstressed state. You just can't eat enough. It's just, you'll be in that cycle for forever until you can mentally get rid of that cycle. I am getting ready to race Mount Washington in August. Is that the one in Seattle? How do you feel when you eat? Speaking of Seattle, I have got to get out to Seattle. I want to ride up Mount Rainier. I've driven up Mount Rainier, but I want to ride up New Hampshire. I actually might be in New Hampshire this year. I'll have to ride over that way. How do you feel when you eat too much protein? Do you feel sick? Yeah, I start smelling like ammonia again. I can't do it. I even beans. If I have too many beans, it's bad. Pee. Laugh out loud. Maybe you're peeing right now. I'm eating raw, basically just fruit, but I like to have 1 cup of coffee a day. Is this okay? I mean, other than the fact that coffee isn't human food, I mean, to each their own. I just don't think it's good, for you. Could you do fruitarian only for a year? Me? Depends on where I live. If I lived on the East Coast, probably, because I had easier time finding fruit, or if I lived in Thailand or something like that. New Hampshire. I think I read that. You mentioned in a video women tend to do better with cooked carbs and fruit versus only fruit. Yeah, true for me. I feel so much better raw till 4 than fruitarian. Yeah, it does seem like that. Women have, how do you word this? Like a wetter digestion than men do. So they tend to do better with starches. 7.6 miles at 12% grade. Laugh out loud. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. I mean, I lived on the East Coast. I mean, I've ridden some serious hills. You know, I've the worst hill that I've ridden on was a 23% grade over like 1.5 miles. That was nuts. I was like, I couldn't even barely breathe afterwards, but I did it. I was always under the impression if I ate a high carb diet, I would have to exercise like crazy, and I can't physically do that. I will look at more of your videos. Thanks again. Yeah, no, you don't have to exercise like crazy. If your diet, you can't out you can, but you really can't out exercise a bad diet unless you really are exercising the house down. I am convinced coffee makes people smell. Yeah, it does. Smell their breath, and it's terrible. Ugh, ugh. I just can't. It's like yeah, it's like brown rice and the sweet potatoes. Ugh, just can't do it. But yeah, no, you don't have to over exercise. Exercise is good, but I find that some people actually, when they stop exercising, lose weight because it's does stress the body still. You know, so the less stress on your body, the more it can actually just function the way it wants to, instead of constantly trying to have to recover from your workout. It can put energy into something else. It's just kind of like when you go and you stop eating animal death or whatever, or bovine secretions or whatever you want to call it. When you're not eating this stuff, your body can actually start digesting. And when you're eating just starches or just fruits or something like that, and most starches and fruits get digested in the small intestine really quick, and so they just go to the colon. But a lot of the animal stuff, all of the animal stuff spends forever in your digestion, and it takes all your energy, and you just don't have energy for anything else. Do you mountain bike or just road? I own two mountain bikes. Technically, one of them is actually built, one of them is just a frame. I don't really do it that often, and the way my heel is now, or my ankle, it's the ankle bone's bolted to the heel bone, and if that were to crack or anything like that, I might lose my whole foot. And I feel like that would be more likely in mountain biking than road, so I don't do it a whole lot. Want to try cycling, but people are scary on the road. I actually find that it more safe to ride on the road than I do off road. I mean, it's not a matter of if you're going to get into an accident on a mountain bike, it's when and how bad is it going to be. Is more than 90% carbs healthy? Yeah. 95.5 is good. How long has it been since been off the keto diet? 2010, 2009, 2010, somewhere in there. 2009 probably, because 2010 I just had a total meltdown and I started eating like crazy. I was probably 200 and I don't even know, some pounds. And by the time my meltdown and my like binges and everything were over and I started drinking for the first time in my life was over, I was like 405 pounds. I feel the best on raw, but the stress doesn't let me persist on it. I'm a girl. I hope the summer will be easy for me. Yeah, if you're having the stress still on raw, it's probably because you're not getting enough calories in. So just add sugar to it if you really want to stay raw. I found it interesting in the interview that excessive exercise is counterproductive to weight loss. This makes sense, as even as a runner, I lose more weight just walking. It's been proven time and time and time and time and time again that walking is way more effective than running for weight loss. Way more effective for it. We are natural born walkers. We're not, the running thing is not really, we only did it when we absolutely had to. Walking is so much better, and you actually burn more calories walking than you do running and actually cycling. So you burn more calories walking than cycling and running. It's just not good for you. Do I enjoy these Q&As when the questions are really coming in. When I have to just sit here and blabber about whatever, unless I actually really have a topic, then I don't like it all that much. Georgie mentioned potatoes, butter, and salt is good food, but we are not doing butter here, correct? As you just said, no animal. Yeah, but you can get, all right. So if you really wanted to try this, because I actually kind of want to try it myself, but I'm at a point where I really can't. But if I was coming off of keto, I think I would try this. So I would just get a vegan-based butter, because, they're easy to get now. And I would just try that experiment. I mean, run with it. Try it out. Let me know how it goes. Because I'm a natural born fat lover. I love to eat fat. So I really have to stay away from it. I'm like genetically, that is what I'm going to go to. Like if you put like butter laden whatever back in the day, or like apple in front of me, I'm never gonna go for the apple. But yeah, these people were losing weight like crazy on the potatoes, the butter, and the salt, and they didn't even want to come off of it. So if you are coming off keto and that's the diet you go to afterwards, I'd imagine you would just thrive on it. As you just said, no animal. What do you put on rice, potatoes? So potatoes, I don't really like soy sauce on. Rice, I like soy sauce on. Potatoes, if they're really good potatoes, I actually don't put anything on them because to me they taste like salt. If they're not that good, which haven't really been that good this year, mustard I actually really like of all things. What I'll do is I'll cut up a potato, I'll slather some mustard on it and cook it, and then just dip it in something or something like that. 100% true. I lost more weight walking. HIIT classes are shit. Don't do HIIT classes. None of that stuff is good. It's just not. It it's pointless. Has anyone in your life switched to this way of eating? My dad, I think, is actually finally getting on board. I think my dad's finally getting on board. Click on the like, people. Yeah, I'm like, click the like, please. You know, what can you do? Are you a good swimmer? Iron Man wishes. I actually am a fairly good swimmer. Iron Man, I don't think my ankle could handle that. It couldn't handle the running. It can handle the swimming and the cycling, but the running, there's no way I can handle that. It just what happens is I don't have a picture to show you, but where the suture mark is on my foot, it goes over the drainage of the foot. So what happens is over time, if I'm running or walking or whatever, my foot doesn't drain anymore, and it just turns into it just swells up. I can't, but it doesn't seem to do it as much with cycling. It's probably because it's not as much impact. This may be a silly question. Thoughts on parasite cleansing? I'm not a huge fan of cleansing altogether, but if you go onto a fruit diet or like a mostly fruit diet, and you come from a really terrible diet, you're going to detox heavily. Most people will. Where was I? Salsa on potatoes is good. I don't actually like that combination, but I know a lot of people do. It's weird. I like that combination if it's like smashed potatoes. I don't know. It's certain circumstances. I can't have it on most potatoes. So I don't like it all that much. But yeah, that is a good combo. And it depends on the salsa. So sauce is a bit too salty for me. It makes me feel like a puffer fish. Oh, soy sauce. Yeah. But some people don't do that. And maybe water it down. I know Freely used to do that. She water it down. I water it down sometimes too. I can eat mustard by the bottle, 100%. 100%. Like the new one that's out lately is the dill and the mustard. Oh man, is that good. Do you feel better since you went vegan? Yeah. Yeah. Like button. I mean, you can tell people to hit the like button all you want, and they're just not gonna hit it. I love sugar. You know, it's kind of like it's like there's people out there who you could save their entire family from a burning building, and they won't even say thank you afterwards. You know, it is the way it is with the like button. I get it. I appreciate that skill. You are doing a great live. Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, I love this kind of stuff. I hope to one day just be out in live and doing these. I'm gonna try the dill and mustard. Thanks, 100%. It's so good, and it'll save you money too, because most of the mustard dills out there are expensive as shit. I mean, it's ridiculous, except for the one at Trader Joe's, but they're almost always out. You know, it sucks. Like when they finally are in stock, I'm the asshole that buys an entire case. Plans on Wow Vids like 50 bananas a day or 10 pounds of banana. That's actually a really good idea. I might do something like that. Is McDougall your favorite plant-based MD? I would have to say Bernard. I like his philosophy a little bit better. What kind of music do you listen to? Almost everything but country, hip hop, and pop. It's anything else. Apparently, adding acid vinegar to carbs causes a smaller insulin spike. Boiled potatoes in vinaigrette. Mm, I don't know. Maybe that has something to do with resistant starch. I don't know why that would be. Maybe it's harder to digest and it just doesn't cause the spike as much. I really don't know. I don't know what would cause that. I actually have heard that. But then supposedly vinegar also, destroys your liver. So what are you going to do? Are you religious? I know that Jesus is real. Other than that, I don't know. I think a lot of it's control. I watched some of the zero shoe video. Your feet feel supported in them. No, that's the most beautiful thing in the world. Your feet don't need support. They didn't come here to have support. They don't need a support group. They don't need anything. They just need to be able to do what they want to do, and it's the most wonderful thing in the world. It might take you a little while to get used to it, but once you are used to not having your feet being controlled, oh, the sky's the limit. It's crazy. Your feet will never hurt. Like they never hurt. What is your opinion on candy? I like candy. I wish there wasn't so many food colorings in it. Do you care about organic food? I like to get whatever looks the healthiest when I'm buying it. I used to always buy organic, but it doesn't always taste that great. So I kind of go by eye now. Malt vinegar potatoes are very good. Yes, it is. What do you think of progressive vegans who advocate for a high fat and high protein and low carb diets? Example, Nick from the Nutrivore channel. I think they're just trying to ride a wave of popularity and nothing else. I think it's stupid. Were you always a non-drinker? Yeah. Other than that 6 months, I don't like it. I like certain alcohol. Ironic, I can't stand coffee, but I like Guinness, um, and a couple others. There's actually a banana beer that's really good, but yeah, I never really got into it, and I absolutely despise the taste of wine and like all that. Oh, it's so terrible. Apparently, acid stops amylase from working as well, so not all the carbs are broken down to monosaccharides, and they're not absorbed by the intestine. I just don't understand why are you trying to trick your system into not doing certain things? It's like, why eat it? Is instant mashed potatoes okay? All it is flaked potatoes. I don't know if there's much in it, like process wise. If you ever seen how they do it, they mash potatoes, they dehydrate them, they turn them into sheets of like this paper like potato substance, and then they flake it into a box, and then you reconstitute it with water. It's kind of like eating rations, which hopefully we never get to that point. But it's potatoes. Do you ever eat pasta? Yeah, I had some probably Sunday. Yeah, I think I had some Sunday. I don't eat a lot. I find it to be somewhat estrogenic, so I don't eat it too much. How do you feel about gluten? Do you eat bread? I like eating bread that I made. I'm not a huge fan of eating bread from anybody else. French baguettes tend to be the lowest fat. Um, what else? Sourdough, I don't mind. I don't feel like making a sourdough starter, so if I want sourdough, I'll just go buy that. I probably should make a starter and start making bread again. I don't know. I like making bread during this season, but I just never did this year. Just never did it. Adopting another pet. I don't know. I don't know. Blinky is the most unreplaceable being I've ever come across in my life, whether human or animal. Um, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to actually. Do you like frozen fruit? Some of them, but blueberries really do well. I don't really like strawberries like all that much at all, so I don't get them. Cranberries do pretty good. What else? Mango, bananas don't freeze well. I don't think. They're pretty much brown after about 2 weeks. You make your own hummus, great topping for potatoes if it's oil free, etc. I think it's a great topping if you do like an air fried potato. I don't really think it's great if you're doing mashed potatoes. But yeah, I've made my own hummus. It's pretty easy. It's pretty. I mean, but the thing is if you don't have a lot of these processors like I do, I got a ton of kitchen gadgetry. Then it's kind of a pain in the ass. You can actually get hummus that's oil free or fat free. Have you ever heard of semi-glutamide diabetic drug, but has been licensed as weight loss drug in UK? Yeah, I think they call it Gavi. Oh, gosh, Wegovy here. I'm not a huge fan. What it does is basically starves you out. Hey, if I don't eat meat during the day, I feel extremely low on energy. I want to eat high carb, high sugar, but I can't. The reason you're feeling that is because meat is very, what's the word? It's like caffeine, basically. It gives you a ton of energy because it's so toxic, and the body's like, we got to get this out of us. So, what the body raises all the, your adrenals and everything to get this stuff out of your system, and then you just eat it again, and it's just a never ending cycle. So, it's gonna be that way for a while. It's just a phase that you got to get over. Are you ready for Natasha? I wish I was. I'm not going to be able to do the interview that we got scheduled because I'm supposed to go to the orchestra and I completely forgot about it. Ozempic. I've heard of that one too. I don't filling. Is it possible to naturally gain weight on high carb, low fat, or will I have to up my fats? Currently eating 80-10-10. Some people gain weight in initial stages of it just because of metabolic issues. Was Harley right saying you don't follow his protocols completely? When did he say that? Where's everybody getting this information from? I no. Good for you. Brand bread is sprouted. Is that actual brand? I don't really do a ton with bread. In his latest video, I'll have to go watch that. I'll have to go watch that. I've actually told him I'll give him my address. He can come here at any time and see what I'm doing. What do you think of Durian Rider using testosterone injections? It's up to him. I'm not a huge fan. I said I've seen. All right, so if you grew up kind of in the lifting world like I did, I've seen a lot of bad things happen with testosterone, and I just wouldn't want to do it to myself. The funny things are like the roid rage when people flip out and stuff like that, but sometimes that can get dangerous, especially if you're like a weak person and you can't handle the roid rage. But other than that, maybe I'm not gonna say that I'm for it or against it really. He said you're looking good though. I have a feeling I know who told him some of this information. If you only eat fruit, you will get super skinny. But I personally like it's boring. Give some rice and tofu. I'm good. I can't just do the whole fruit thing without getting bored out of my mind. I don't really like tofu, but rice I miss the entire time. Is Georgie trying out the high sugar diet he talked about yesterday? No, he does like a 33%, so 33% of each macro. It, I don't know if he wants to get super skinny or not. Do you personally know of any greater weight loss than yours? Yeah, actually, a couple of the people I've interviewed. The one really coming to my mind is jackfruit watermelon. She actually lost more weight than I have. Strange that DR uses testosterone when he criticizes people who say they are natty. What he criticizes is the fact that people won't actually admit to the fact that they are on testosterone, not that the fact that they are taking it. Like if I was going to take it, I really don't care if you're mad about it or not. Like I would tell you, I have no interest. The only time, I wouldn't even do that. I would have done it back in the day if there was ever a time that I was going to do it in my life, it would have been back in the day. Now I wanted to see you interview Natasha. I was looking forward to it. It'll happen. I got to find out what time this orchestra thing is on Sunday and see if we can't work around it. Then knowing what he knows, it baffles me that Georgie is eating so much high fat and protein. I don't get it because I'm literally got his website right here talking about all this stuff. Are you happy with the speed your weight loss journey is progressing? No. But again, like I said, the stress levels, my body just does not seem to want to drop the stress. And until it does that, until it doesn't turn everything into this big deal mentally, it's going to be, the struggle is going to be real. I pour the sugar down. It drives me nuts. I think the reason it worked so well in 2016 is either I did exercise myself, or the stress just wasn't there because I was riding so much, and it's like my moving meditation. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it works so well some of the other times. And then unfortunately I added so much fat back into my diet when I came back to Cleveland. I mean, so much fat. I was driving 90 miles round trip to my job every day, and I just didn't feel like cooking when I got home. And it's so hard to find ripe fruit in January, which is when I moved back here. There was just so many things that were stacked against me, and I just started eating really, really fatty foods, and I gained the weight again. This is why I preach against fatty foods, because I've seen it to myself. You've seen the pictures, and once you're back into that life, it is so hard to get your body back out of it. Sleep is important for the stress, man. Well, I sleep last night I slept like 10 and a half hours. It's not like I'm not sleeping. I'm kind of lazy to figure out or calculate, but in terms of macros, do you know what percentage of carbs, fat, and protein on a whole food plant plates? The last few times I figured it out, it was about 87% carbs and then a little bit of fat and but I didn't add anything. It just was what it was from those foods. And I don't even know, chronometer really seems to be off with potatoes because they add more fat and protein than I think there are actually in the potato. What was the pandemic time like for you? Stressful? No. I was so happy that happened. It was so nice to not have to go to work. So nice to not have to go anywhere. It's blissful. I played video games 15 hours a day. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. Now, the only not beautiful part about it was the fact that I had my foot hacked open and a new titanium bone bolted to my heel, and I had a heel from that. But other than that, man, it was beautiful. It was just beautiful. Nobody could go anywhere. I could just get video games and just chill out. It was wonderful. It's probably why I lost 15 or 20 pounds. Do you find high fructose soft drinks not as sweet as the normal sugar ones? I don't actually buy as many fizzy drinks as I used to. When you don't drink that stuff for a while and then you start drinking it again, the acidity of it really does you start noticing it. So I actually have some upstairs right now, and it was expensive as hell because it was cane sugar. I haven't really liked it that much because it's burning my throat from the acid of the carbonic acid or whatever it is called. I don't know if that answered your question. How to find? I really don't know that I noticed a difference, but I really don't drink much of it anymore anyway. Oh, this tears drag me nuts. This is going on longer than I thought. As far as your question, do I get enough sleep? I mean, I don't have an alarm clock. I haven't set an alarm clock in like 5 or 6 years. So I let the body sleep as long as it wants to. Do I eat honey? No. I actually am allergic to honey, so I don't eat it. Do you eat a lot of greens as in the Esselstyn protocols? No. Maybe 2 or 3 handfuls a day, but I got pretty big hands, so I mean that's actually a decent amount of green. The first smoothie of the day, I fill the carafe halfway, and then I jam like another 10 or 15 bananas on top of that. Honey is acidic. Yeah, it's really, really acidic. I mean, it's vomit. I mean, I'm not really a huge fan of eating vomit. I never really I only liked honey on toast. That was it. I have never heard anyone being allergic to honey. Yeah, I had my throat start closing up. It was bad. It was really bad. It wasn't to the point where I had to go to the hospital, but I was starting to have a hard time breathing. Would I be able to negate the acidic effects of juice on my teeth if I drink with a straw? I love juice because it's easy calories, but it makes my teeth feel weird. I suppose so. I don't have that effect. You could just chug it back. I guess straws might help. If it's that acidic, though, maybe you should find another one. What video game do you play? Right now, I've been playing Tales of Vesperia and Tales of Symphonia on Switch. Bravely Default on 3DS. I do have Cyber, what is it? Cyber something, not 2077 on here on the computer. This computer's it's a beast. So I there's a lot of like the higher graphics that I'll just play on the computer. Do you keep the salt low? That can cause water retention. Yeah, I don't use a lot. I don't like salt. I don't like the taste of salt, so I stay away from it anyway. I can eat sucrose on end, but a few days of honey make my teeth ache. It's weird because honey, I just can't do it. But another thing that actually affects my teeth is potatoes. It drives me nuts because I like potatoes, but they kind of stick to my teeth. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's different with everybody. That's what Georgie and I were talking about. Some people can't just digest anything. I'm really gonna have to check this video out. My keyboard's over here. I'll have to do a reaction video if he was actually talking about me. Everyone freaks out when I put sugar in my tea. Laugh my ass off. I just like to taste better. People think they will get diabetes or something if they drink it. My goodness. I mean, I don't know how old everybody is here, but when I think of back in the day, man, I mean, the sugar was like they used it a lot, and they were skinny, and they lived forever. The only salt I eat is through condiments, and it's not something I can really control. Not unless you start making your own condiments. And yeah, I that's one thing. That's why I can't have too much soy sauce or anything. I really just don't like salt. I just don't like it. All my cousins put butter in their coffee. Is people still doing that? I even know people who are like completely against the high carb thing that think putting butter in their coffee is just idiotic. I heard too much sleep is not good for you. That's what McDougall says. I just let the body sleep. Any advice on sleeping better? I wake up during the night and I don't know why. Maybe it's the aliens. Maybe they're coming to get you in the middle of the night. Sugar's probably low. At Starbucks, I've started asking for hot water with 8 pumps of cane sugar syrup, 75 cents. I gotta do that just to see the reactions. Oh, this fat guy's ordering this sugar water. No wonder he's fat. Sugar was high value commodity. It is 42. Kimberly Brown. Why is everybody saying their age? I'm 42 myself. Just turned 42 last August. Is that symbolism to the aliens coming? Yeah, no, your sugar's probably low. I know when I interviewed the Trophy twins, they talked about getting up in the morning, and once they switched over to mostly starch, they didn't have that. Isn't Kim Kardashian 42? No idea. No, I barely know who that is. My mom always told me sugar. The only reason I actually know who Kim Kardashian is because she got a huge ass. That's only literally because people will send me pictures and I'm like, it's nice, but I wouldn't want anything to do with her. My mom always told me sugar will give me diabetes and went 28 years of my life fearing sugar until I found durian rider. That sucks, bro. That sucks. Ezekiel bread is the best. Eat as much as you can, then I guess. Thought you were in your 30s. I was in my 30s a couple years ago. Damn, eating disorder ruining my sleep sugar fix. Got it. Thanks. That it's either sugar or aliens. That's the only two things it could be that are keeping you up. That or you got to go to the bathroom. Uh, I remember you making a marinara pasta sauce a while back. I couldn't find it. Didn't you take it down? I did take some of them videos down, yeah, because I was trying to get it to push my videos more. Anything, because some of the lower watch videos I was taking off and I was putting on my Patreon, but nobody joined that. So I'm like, I there's two people on there. I'm kind of hoping they stop doing it so I can just figure out what to do with that Patreon. Yeah. Here's the thing. Like, if you just go get a can of diced tomatoes, a can of tomato sauce, usually organic, it's like Trader Joe's, and a thing of paste. I mix that together. I mean, it's like the best marinara sauce you're ever gonna make, and then just add whatever seasonings you like to it. It's magical. I actually like to add sugar into that because it just takes like Chef Boyardee, which I wasn't allowed to eat as a kid, but my best friend had it, and so I couldn't wait to go over his house and have it, and that was it. Come on, I meant mid-30s. Yeah, I mean, I was in my 30s, if like 3 years ago. This man looks 25. 25. No, I've had somebody say I was 24 the other day. I'm like, I don't know where you're getting your info. Why is sugar so demonized? Why? Because it's cheap. It helps you. It cures a lot of diseases, if not all diseases, and it wouldn't make the medical industry any money. You got to figure, like, if 5% of people stop going to the doctor all of a sudden, it could crash the entire system. And then 20% of all the gross, money for the country for the year would be gone. What would they do? It's just like literally 3%. It would only take 3% of people who took all their money out of a bank to crash a bank. Apparently it just happened at a bank in San Francisco a little while ago, a couple weeks ago. It's money, money, money. And that's probably why they don't push my videos as much, because I'll say stuff like that and they don't want that information out. Who's eating what while watching? Tangerine. I'm not eating anything, but I'm hungry as shit, so I wish it was. Becoming a weight loss coach. Yeah, that's what the Patreon's going to be. But it's probably going to be Zoom calls. I like face to face. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a questionnaire, and I'm going to send you the questionnaire, and then we're going to do an interview on Patreon or on Zoom, and I'm just going to charge it through Patreon or something like that. What is your opinion on canned fruit? Should I only buy the glass jars or in tin? I'm not a huge fan of tin fruit. I don't think it's as big a deal, but I like the stuff in the bottle better. I'm at work, so am I. Technically, this is my job. Why isn't this channel blowing up? You got a great message. Why? Because of everything that I just said. I don't know why. The only thing that I know is what my first video that nobody ever got to see, hardly. Only like 1,200 people saw it. My first video. I was so happy. I mentioned the word. Well, it's already on this channel. The word COVID, and they took the video down. They gave me a strike, and ever since then, it has been a nightmare to get my videos out. That's why I started the other one, the Raw Vegan Eats Plant-Based, and that's why I'm telling the links down below. If you go join that, as soon as I get a ton of people over there, then I'm just probably going to have to let this kind of just do its thing and just use that channel. Historically, sugar has been used as medicine, or yeah, I mean, they still in other countries use sugar as medicine. Canned fruit. I mean, it's crazy, but everybody's got their blinders on. I mean, they still use sugar as medicine in Africa and parts of Asia, different countries in Asian, the Asian area. Random question: do the predators you have in the U.S. put you off riding in the wilds? We don't have any at all in New Zealand, so it baffles me how you do trails over there. All right, so here's where reality hits what you hear on media. The predators over here, yeah, it's not as bad as people really think. When I hear some of this, I'm like, woof. Yeah, I mean, you can see what's going on with them talking about how terrible this country is, but it's not. It's not like that. Besides, I just ride with the shotgun anyway, because everybody in America just rides with shotguns. So I'll just ride with a shotgun on my back, and if somebody, just pop them. I'm just kidding. Do you care at that time you go to bed? I try to go before midnight. I was trying to go earlier, but it just doesn't happen. You need a more comfortable chair. No, this is actually a really comfortable chair. I've just been in it all day. Here's the thing. This is why I don't go back to lifting. I'm in so much damn pain from lifting for so many years that like I kind of do this all the time. It is what it is. That's why I'm kind of speak out against lifting. You definitely don't look like you are in your 40s at all. Thanks. Age is just a number, right? Did you draw those pictures on the wall? Yeah, I've got thousands of arts that I've drawn. Go to topping for rice and potatoes. For rice, I just like soy sauce and a little bit of vegetables. For potatoes, mustard, and yeah, mustard really. Is America like GTA? It depends on where you live. If you're in certain areas in GTA, I mean, like I live in Cleveland. There's an area called East Cleveland. I mean, it's pretty easy to get shot there. But then it depends on what zip code you live in. If you live in a good zip code, you're fine. Usually, crime doesn't cross zip codes. It doesn't. It's crazy. I mean, I live pretty close to a library that's in a different zip code where like 3 or 4 people have been shot in the head. But that just doesn't come over this way. So what are you gonna do? Sugar as medicine, fat and protein as poison. Basically, that could be a saying. I don't. I mean, crime is everywhere. If you take guns from people, they're gonna just stab you with a pencil. If you take pencils away from there, they're just gonna beat you over the head with a rock. You take the rocks away, they're just gonna drown you. I mean, it's just unfortunately, I think we've gotten to a point where people are so zoned out and drowned out and listening to the wrong music and stuff that they glorify crime now, and it's just gotten ugly. Nice art skill, yeah, it's all right. It ain't bad. Um, I actually went to a school for video game design. I actually know how to design video games, and I, you know, but I can't stand Los Angeles. So unfortunately, when I was coming up in that world, I just didn't want to live there. And it only, to start off in video games, it only paid like $35 an hour or something like that, or $55 an hour. And in LA, you're going to basically be living in a cardboard box in the hood somewhere for $55 an hour. It's just nothing. Soy sauce, super salty though, right? Yeah, yeah, that's why I don't use a ton of it, and I'll actually sometimes I'll mix soy sauce with sweet and sour like type or sweet and sour type sauce, and that really helps quite a bit. A Gatling gun on your back, like a minigun, yeah, 50,000 rounds a minute, um, on the front of the bike. That's why I don't like to lift heavy weight. I don't like pain. Yeah, you're gonna be in pain if you lift for 20 years. Lift, not live. Favorite video game? Uh, so my favorite 2D video game is Zelda: A Link to the Past. My favorite 3D video game is BioShock Infinite. Hands down, best ending of a game. The DLC are incredible. There's some close runners up, but I never, ever, ever, ever replay games. But BioShock Infinite, I've replayed 3 times. Zelda, probably like 5. And if they remade Zelda, which I really hope they do, I'll be like day one buying it. Thoughts on the open AI chat GPT? I don't really have any thoughts on it. What here where I live, a normal pay around $10 an hour. $10 an hour. Oh man, that would be nice. Yeah, no. I think if you don't make $25 to $30 an hour, you're screwed here. Political orientation. Oh, not getting into that. But I do like my controller here. It's red. I don't want to get into that. I do miss, speaking of chat though. I miss being able to chat in video games. I used to play Battlefield 3 and 4. I used to love to be able to get on there and I swear I need to start a video game channel. But I used to love doing that. Do you like soups like chili and potato soup? That sounds really good. I don't think I've ever had it. Stream games and answer at the same time. Yeah, I really need to start something like that. I think Twitch is like the place to do that, right? Politics is Santa Claus for grown-ups. It basically is. The whole thing's work. I think the reason I don't like to get into it is because my family has been in politics really heavily. And my great uncle was actually going to be named head of the Supreme Court by JFK. So I have a pretty big background in that, and it's a world that'll chew you up pretty quick. Workers of the world unite. I think the best thing in the world would be to get rid of the monetary system and just a barter. That way, nobody had to do anything they didn't like to do. That scares people, the barter. But can you imagine just getting up and doing what you want every day, helping other people, doing what your skill set is, and not having to worry about a financial control system that is controlled by a few? High Carb Regenerate 2024. Yeah, I do actually. I might run for mayor of Cleveland at some point. I might. I've already had family, in high levels in the city over the years. But that requires dressing up, and I hate dressing up. I got to go to the orchestra on Sunday. I don't even have anything to wear. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. Surgeon General 2024. You know what level you'd have to be to get to that. I don't think so. Man, this is an hour and 40 minutes. What time? Shit. I got to get going here. I'm gonna have to get going. All right. Sorry to cut it like this, but I got to get going. I got to make that money. Everybody's talking about how much you make whatever. But yeah, if you could legit wherever you're at make it like a decent living off $10 an hour, man, would that be a dream? That would be an absolute dream. And I'm sure there's parts of this country too. I just always tend to live in cities, and cities just demand that you make more money than you do in not city areas. I get lost. I can't stand, and I feel like there's an axe murderer going to hop out of somewhere when I live in the middle of nowhere. I just can't do it. Anyway, I got to get going here. I got to go make that cash. And I'm not a big fan of first person shooters. I'm not as big of a fan as I used to be, but it was definitely a genre it's probably the cheapest genre to get in though, because you can find one game that you really like and just buy that, and until the servers are shut down, you're good. So, whatever. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I share the video. I know it's weird topics, but whatever. I got to get the message out there. And I will say, young man, it was a delightful live stream. I'm glad everybody enjoyed it. I'm glad it lasted this long. I would do this all day. I just got to pay the bills. Anyway, I'll talk to you in the next one.